All right, I'm here to provide you with those news briefs, things you may have missed, things you may have not seen. All right, today we have some wise words from the Pope. He says, "Don't be misled by making money and career your life." Ooh, that's an interesting statement coming from one of the richest establishments in the world. But hey, money's not important, especially when you have it all. That saying they say is never really special when you already have it. But hey, what do we know as basic folk? It says, Francis said during a homily on Saturday to mark Epiphany that people often make do with having health, a little money, and a bit of entertainment. He urged helping the poor and other needy communities instead, while giving freely without expecting anything in return. Most Christian religions observe Epiphany to recall the three wise men who followed a star to find baby Jesus. Francis suggested asking what star we have chosen to follow in our lives. He said some stars may be bright, but do not point this way. So it is with success, money, career, honors, and pleasures when these become our lives. The path, he says, won't ensure peace and joy. Okay, here's my standpoint on these interesting statements. It's very easy to tell people of an average standpoint to help others, give to others, give them all this free will giving and don't expect anything in return. Now, look, I'm saying all that's nice and good, but it's difficult to just give handouts, and hand over your wealth or whatever you have when you don't get much. Inflation makes it extremely difficult to help other people. I mean, we don't really come from an establishment to where we can just take vacations and move around the world freely as we please and do whatever we want. It's just saying, no disrespect, but let's be realistic. If we just look at Japan and look at the decline in their population, we'll see that decline is due to wages. These wages aren't about creating success, being rich, being popular, anything of that nature, like America, how we admire this interesting culture. But basically, their population is becoming smaller and smaller simply because it's like the opposite of America. If they can't afford children, they don't have them. Their relationships fail and they end up a lot of times in trouble, not because there's a lot of infidelity or a lot of other problems, but because you have the woman who's doing something 12, 13 hours a day. You have the man who's doing something 12, 13 hours a day. They're basically working the entire day. They don't have time to focus on each other. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're focused solely on wealth, but survival. There's just a drastic difference between survival and wealth. At this current state, the average are having more taken from them. If you just look at their checks, you can make anywhere from $700-800 roughly a week. They're going to take about $250-300, so that's only going to leave you at $500 after you get these things taken that also won't be contributed to your future standing, like so many of our elders and the older ones in our community who've worked 40 to 50 years in their life and can't even get more than $90 in food stamps. And that's a bit lucky. Generally, the older people over 50, 60 years old only get about $18 to $25 standard in food stamps. A lot of them don't receive welfare, they don't receive Social Security. And oh God, let's not get started on our veterans or our war vets, the ones that it was disrespectful to take a knee, but not disrespectful to not take care of them, even though they fought for their country and risked their lives. Now, again, I say to have it where it's no disrespect. This is not something to take shots at the word of the Pope, but honestly, let's be realistic here and let's just kind of keep it real, because even Drake said the same thing. It's nothing when you have it, but it's everything when you don't have it. Not to just quote him, but specifically, mostly everybody says that. And it's just mighty funny how those with a lot of money can tend to say what you don't really need to have. But this is just news briefs. This is just a few wise words from the Pope, which I do agree with everything he's saying. I just wish that life was not made more difficult than it had to be to line the pockets of the rich. So, hey, I'm out. This is News Briefs. Have a nice evening. Stay tuned for the next story.